New edition of All Eyes on Cleveland. Good to see you all filing into the chat. We appreciate you being here, contributing to the show. Make sure you hit like and subscribe on your way in or out, and atone for your sins. Hit that button. Totally free. Good to see you all here. The man next to me, the one and only Jeff Lloyd, joining us. We're so glad to have him at the OBR. He's killing it on Browns 3D at 6 p.m. every day. Joining me here for the first half hour tonight to talk quarterbacks a little bit. Good to have you here. We want to say that Casey is out tonight. He'll be back next week, but happy 17th. Make sure I get this right. Happy 17th birthday to Casey's daughter, and that's why he's out. So good to see you all in the chat, though. Thanks for being here. All Eyes on Cleveland. And let's dive right in. What's going on, Jeff?
Not much. First off, for Jason, Monmouth University, New Jersey. You guys all remember Miles Austin had his little run with the Cleveland Browns. I was the Miles Austin before Miles Austin.
The real Miles.
Yep. Of course, just messing around. But thanks for that. Yeah, we're going good here. Obviously, over a week here now, with you guys here at the OBR. Was excited for this all to kind of jump off. Friday the 13th, got some devastating news about what I was doing. And thought about it a little bit, knew if there was a change to be made. Certainly, probably one of my best friends in the content business, even though, we annoy each other to death at times, Mr. Pete Smith. And, if we were going to continue, working in this space, I've had, certainly a lot of friends that have come in and out of this place and, known the history, certainly, of the OBR, but we're getting in the groove here again. And, look, not many people who do what we do, everybody wants to talk about game week. Look, I love all that. That's fine. But this time of year, man, like I'm salivating, literally. Yeah. I'm sending text messages out, DMs out, this, that, and the other thing. Who's this kid? Tell me more about this kid. I'm sending numbers to Pete. Check out this guy. Because the threshold. Did he meet this? And did he meet this? Well, before we get to that part, Pete, did he miss that? Did he make this part? Da 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 da. But, roster construction, roster building, overall managing of, a pro sports franchise just absolutely fascinates me.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why we do it. It's all encompassing, and we are diving into it, and we appreciate you being here and lending your knowledge, Jeff, to us. And you're killing it on Browns 3D. Make sure you tune into that every day, 6 p.m., 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. So I want to talk about quarterbacks with you. I know you did your show today on quarterbacks, but I just want to get like a lay of the land with you where you're at now. So if let's start with the draft guys. Okay. Let me go ahead and bring this up here as let me see if it's working yet. The slides function on our thing was not working earlier, so let's see if we can get it to work. But I know you've done some draft work, as have I, and we're, as you were just talking about, and then I want to talk about some of the free agents that are out there, because the options aren't jumping off the page at me as a huge thing, but this is what the Browns have to work with in a critical year. And they're going to have to make some decisions sooner rather than later on this, and it will impact the direction of the organization majorly. So, for a bidding war at 2. Yeah. It came up. How realistic, Jeff, before we dive into this, do you think it is that Deion takes the job in Dallas?
Well, it's interesting how you hear it, because you're hearing things, certainly, from the Colorado perspective that, and look, Deion, for what they did this year and what he's done there already in 2 years there, he is not wrong in saying, hey, we need some more money. Looking for a raise, and NIL. I mean, who knows what numbers are necessarily true in regards to NIL, because, and of course we've heard stories of, kids having issues where they didn't get the money they were, basically promised to get. But it's not crazy to believe that Deion says, look, if you want us to take the next step, it costs money, and then certainly, for the possibility with Dallas, look, I think Deion is great in what he's doing now. And I think what's so great about it within the college atmosphere, and, you saw, I think it came out yesterday that the average team GPA for Colorado was over a 3.0. And Deion is, got these kids, and he's really, really, and it's not just from the football aspect of it. It's, trying to make them good men. I remember there was the, no slides, no tank tops. If I see you around campus dressed like that, we got a problem.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily being, basically an authoritarian, but, it's just trying to say, hey, look, you represent more than you think you do. You represent us, but you also represent your family, and all of that stuff. And you're trying to teach, and taking guys to be men. The thing as far as Dallas, and the question is how do they do everything? Are they going to move on from Dak, which, I don't know how that even works financially. I mean, the numbers, and, if you all want to bother, you want to bother Jack Duffin with that one. That is something that, I don't even know if Jack can crunch those numbers to make it feasible for an NFL franchise, but for, what would be, because look, he can go to Dallas. It doesn't mean, that, he's automatically going to get to coach Shedeur, where they are, if people think Shedeur is going to go top 5, I mean, you're going to move on from Dak. You're going to have no money. You're going to trade everything you have to get Shedeur and Deion together. And, it's going to be years. I mean, a couple seasons before they can be competitive. Deion, it's, the season's not as long in college. He's not going to be able to go on all these talk shows that he's going on. If he's the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys, I think, and also for Deion, who was, look, Deion was a big egomaniac. There's no question about that. And I think, certainly enjoying having his ego stroked. I just, it's a huge gamble to just say, here are the keys to an NFL franchise, with a guy like Deion, and the fact that we'd have maybe limited resources. If anybody could pull it off, he could. I just think for what he's doing in the collegiate game right now, I think that's probably the best place for him. But we're talking about Jerry Jones, and there is nothing that is off the table with Jerry Jones. Exactly. The money, we all talk about Jimmy Haslam and the money being endless. The money is 10 times more endless for Jerry Jones, with a side of him just kind of being old and a little bit crazy.
Yeah, time's running out. A drastic move like this wouldn't surprise me. So it'll be interesting to see how that whole thing plays out. I can't really talk to any of the other candidates right now that are in the playoffs, so it's a weird kind of holding pattern period as well. All right, so let's talk draft prospects. I want to know your opinion, Jeff, on these guys, right? On where you're at with the top guys, right? So we've got, of course, Cam and Shedeur, being projected to go, most places 1, 2. You've got, Milrow. Ewers has declared. Dart is interesting, at least in my opinion. McCord, and so on. Do you have a favorite guy? First of all, let's start there.
I think Cam Ward is the best in this group. I think one of the things that, if you're looking for things that impress you, is that Cam Ward kind of went, 3 different places, and, started off at an extremely small school, played well, got noticed, was able to go out to Washington State. Same thing, picked up his game, played well, got to this final year where he got to go down to the U. Certainly, broke records, for Miami, looked really good. I think the thing where Cam Ward, for me, has some appeal with the Browns is you watch the throws that Cam Ward is succeeding on at Miami. You can see that when the Browns passing game is good. You'd be in a nice situation where you could kind of take it easy on them. You want to go back to the wide zone. Obviously, they're going to have to address that running back room, and we'll see all that. It works out. But you want to kind of make it easier and simpler where you're going to be able to have hopefully a good running game, which opens up a lot of play action. Some of the shorter stuff, like he's not as athletic, like middle infielder-ish as far as like things he can do as far as quicker releases, arm angle, that type of stuff, but all stuff he can certainly work on. For me, I just think he goes to Tennessee. So it's kind of one of those things where you keep, kind of window shopping, or, like you hope it becomes available, but you realize there's maybe a good chance it doesn't. And even the other thing is if Tennessee's not going to take him themselves, then Tennessee is foolish to do anything else other than trade the number one overall selection to somebody who will take him there. Shedeur, and I like Shedeur. I think the thing with Shedeur and what he kind of reminds me of, just as far as, where he wins and what you see him do well, kind of Drew Brees-ish. Like he knows where it's going to go. It's quick. It's not, it's not fired at, 75 miles an hour, but it's quick. It's decisive. He knows where it's supposed to be. His ball placement is usually really, really excellent. I love the fact that, I don't think the pressure is going to be difficult for Shedeur. Like I think a lot of people think he's going to walk into a locker room and he's going to have to check himself. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's going to care that you're Shedeur Sanders. Nobody's going to care that your dad is Deion Sanders. That's something he's going to have to do. But, Deion Sanders being, in my opinion, one of the greatest NFL players of all time, and that's your dad. And, just satisfying Pop had to be hard enough, for Shedeur Sanders. So, that I give a lot of respect for that, because it's not that easy to be a prominent athlete when your dad was one of the most prominent athletes that ever existed on the entire planet.
Yeah.
What worries me is there is not much athleticism to Shedeur Sanders, not much at all.
No.
The running, in college, I said this earlier on my show today, in college, your rushing stats include your sacks as a quarterback. It makes no sense. Nobody does that anywhere else, but college still does. And then you look at it and he's at like minus 200 yards rushing, which lets you know he didn't do much. Like, Cam Ward isn't a great runner, but he's positive by like 150. It just means to tell you he takes a lot of sacks. He takes bad sacks. Like, Deshaun Watson, last play of the game against the Raiders, bad sacks. Either throw it to your mom or just throw it somewhere. You can't eat a 23-yard sack at times. You can't do it. So that certainly is concerned. And then there's people, he'll have a better offensive line in the NFL. Sure, he will. But he'll also be going against better defensive lines and the Myles Garrett of the world. So, if you want to make the push for him with that statement, you just make that other statement and it kind of makes everything moot. I think, and look, this could end up being, nothing, or it could end up being something. But Jalen Milroe, I'm not saying you hired Tommy Rees because you think because you want to draft Jalen Milroe, but already have now a lot of inside information on Jalen Milroe, his best year down to Alabama. And look, some people want to knock Jalen Milroe, whatever. 3 different offense coordinators in his 3 seasons as a quarterback for Alabama. That's not an easy thing to do. It's just not. Obviously, there was going to be a drop-off with the Alabama program once Nick Saban left, and there was. And basically, it was all going to be put on Jalen Milroe. And look, in some games, he was an issue. There's no question about it. 6'2", 200 pounds, 220, runs like a deer, has an extremely strong arm. You see him win vertically. You probably saw it more in 23 than you saw it in 24. Now you couple that with, not only do you already have the Tommy Rees influence, you can have Tommy Rees talk with Bubba Ventrone and say, look, these are some things we would like to see during Senior Bowl week. And this is one of the biggest things with the Senior Bowl that not a lot of people understand. A lot of it is first practice to second practice to third practice. Because now whatever you did in college, and most of you get to the Senior Bowl as a collegiate player, you may be doing things the way your coaches ask in college, or you just may be doing it the way you're doing it and you're just so successful, nobody's going to bother you.
Yeah.
But what they do down at the Senior Bowl is they cut up this tape. The player
Yeah.
watches the tape. The coaches who are working with him that week watch the tape. And then they say, hey, here are some things that I guarantee you all those asses in the seats are going to hope that you maybe do a little bit differently tomorrow. Are you that quick to adjust? And
Yeah. Can
even
you take coaching, right?
exactly, and even if it doesn't go that well and you're slow to adjust to what they're trying to have you do differently, that's 10 times more important than going out there and just continuing to do things your own way.
Yeah.
Are
Can you
you
comprehend
coachable?
it? Are you doing
Exactly.
it?
Are
Yeah.
you accepting and absorbing what they're teaching you? So the Browns can kind of almost get a little Jalen Milroe private week workout in a full group setting, practice setting with a game. So I kind of like that. And it's hard to just ignore that right now with Jalen Milroe. It is just because there's a lot of connections already between he and the franchise and connections that will be made in the up and coming weeks. Tommy Reese, I'm sorry, not Tommy Reese, Quinn Ewers. Look, you're supposed to look beautiful in a Steve Sarkisian offense.
Yeah.
And at times he just didn't. I mean, I'm
Right.
just not there. Jackson Dart, what you like and what you see, arm talent, all of that stuff. But, mostly, in a gun type setting, there's
Yeah.
not much under center, which is going to be a huge thing for Jackson Dart when he's down in the Senior Bowl as well.
Yeah. That's
This
interesting.
wide zone doesn't run so great out of the gun. This is why the changes were made to try to accommodate number 4 and
Yeah.
led to all the disarray here. And I'm going to just close with this one. I'm probably one of few that are in the Kyle McCord camp. I understand, with the OBR and obviously, a main huge part of, the people who love us and appreciate our work. The Ohio State bloodlines run thick.
Yeah.
But I have kids I know, kids who I've worked with who are part of the Syracuse program. They're younger. So you reach out. They've spoken very well of Kyle McCord. The talk is that Kyle McCord went into Syracuse understanding, that he had to do, some checking of his own self when he got to Syracuse. And, it was great that he had a good year. And, you'll see it. I think it's 34 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. Not that it's a great thing, but 12 of those interceptions came in a horrible Thursday night game against the Pitt defense, which is going to have a lot of future pros in the next couple of years. Closed out the last 5 games, didn't throw an interception. Really worked hard to improve himself, be a better teammate, be more about Kyle McCord and more about the other 22 on the field. But collegiate fandom is a little bit different. You get burned, you're not so quick to go. But I think Kyle McCord is a guy that impresses me. Now, keep in mind, the one concern I do have with all of these guys is it's a weak class. So you can say, hey, I like Kyle McCord with the Browns' final pick of round 3.
Yeah. It's all relative. Yeah.
Yes, but are we now talking Kyle McCord in the 30s, 40s, 50s? Whoa, 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 whoa.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
with a dry class and the demand for the position in this league the way it is, you got guys, and the Browns are a prime example.
Yeah.
If you can't crush it with a free agent quarterback, which would probably be Sam Darnold, your penchant to have to take one high here is probably there. And, overdrafting a quarterback and putting him on an accelerated path that maybe he is not ready for is doing yourself a disservice. It's certainly doing the kid you're going to draft a disservice, but it's going to happen because the thirst in the league is just real. The
Yeah.
need for guys to be able to perform that position in the league is real. Like it or not, it's just going to happen.
All right. So at this point, Milroe's interesting, Dart's interesting. It depends on where, right? It's all relative to where you are in the draft and where you're taking them and things like that. Both those guys could sneak up boards, I think, just because you said the thirst for the position. But with Shador, let's just say he's there at 2. If you're the Browns right now, are you taking him? Are you trading out? What are you doing?
I just don't think I can do it. I
Right.
just don't think he's the guy. But this is the tough thing, though. If you're the Browns, this is a major, major decision. And, I don't think you're worried about anything off field. I don't think you're worried about anything about the way Shador handles himself. The taking of the sacks for me is a big, big issue. And it'd be one thing if it was like, hey, he's super athletic and the offensive line is that bad and he's just trying to make something happen. He's not. And the fact is, he'll be less athletic in the NFL than he was in college.
Yeah.
So that means my offensive line, which, we're still waiting to see how this is all going to work. Everybody says, oh, well, they'll go back to the old system. That's fine. But, we don't know on Joel. And even if Joel does come back, we're talking about a guy who will be going into his 12th NFL season. I think people think Wyatt Teller is young. The only reason Wyatt Teller is young is because Joel Bitonio is the left guard. Is one of the few reasons maybe why he's not a
Yeah.
kid anymore. He's not a spring chicken.
Yeah.
So, I think you really have to get the line perfectly in place. And look, we may feel better about the offensive line before we hit the draft, and that certainly could change it. I just don't know if the guy is there, this year. That's why my pension is the Browns somehow, some way are bringing in 3. Whether it's 2 free agents and you're drafting one, whether you're drafting one, hell, I would call Mike Vrabel right away and say, hey, you got May. Any chance for old time's sake, we can get a look at that kid, Joe Milton, over here in Cleveland? Or do you, get one veteran bridge guy? Do you scramble on maybe a Trey Lance, who's even more athletic than some of these guys they did gamble on in the last couple off seasons, the Josh Dobbses of the world. And then, can I get a Jalen Milroe at 33? Or do I maybe have to trade into 32 or 31? Or can I get a Dart? Or can I get, a McCord? And that way it sets my room up, for, this season. And then, next year looks like it'll be a little bit better. And, maybe, you're talking about the kid down at Tennessee. Rumor is Arch Manning's going to stay his whole career at Texas. All that we'll see on. But, to just take Shador Sanders, I guess I can see it and I can understand why they would do it in Berea. It just, for me, I couldn't. And part of it also is because, I've seen this team succeed with Jacoby Brissett. I've seen this team succeed with Joe Flacco. I've seen this team look good for a couple of weeks with Jameis Winston. I know it doesn't necessarily have to be the guy.
Oh, we got something going on there. That was very strange. I'm gonna stop sharing that. Okay. Can you hear me, Jeff?
We're all good, buddy.
All right. If you had to give me your favorite 2 of all of the free agents out there, your journeyman guys, your Darnold, Cousins, Fields, Rodgers, Wilson, Winston, Zach Wilson, Jacoby Brissett, Flacco. It's an endless list, really. Flacco, Heineke. Who else? Kyle Trask is an interesting name. There's a ton of names out there. If you had to pick 2 guys that you would want to bring in, like a 1A who you would hope to maybe start, and B, a guy that you would hope to maybe compete with them, who would they be?
I think you'd be foolish if you're not, first things first, monitoring the Sam Darnold market. Because you say, if you said last year at this time, do you think Sam Darnold could lead the Minnesota Vikings to the playoffs? What would everybody have said? No, absolutely not.
No.
Now, you look at, the Browns obviously trying to get the defense better and, which was such a huge proponent for their success in 2023. You say, hey, with Sam Darnold here, the offensive line hopefully reverting closer to the form that we think they are all capable of in the system that they are more comfortable in. You get a Cedric Tillman back healthy, who really showed strides. And I think the thing with Judy and Tillman is, these Judy, maybe not necessarily, but he's not a smaller receiver, probably an average size receiver. Tillman, a bigger target. So you want to run these digs. You want to challenge between the hashes down the field vertically with bigger receivers. You saw success that this team was having with that. So, you're certainly all in, on conversations with Sam Darnold. They can afford, if it gets to like a Baker Mayfield contract, they can afford something in that neighborhood. Just going to basically, take a bunch of guys and turn some money into signing bonuses. We all know the way it works now over the years here with the Browns and how they would do it. But the market for Sam Darnold, should be big. And, maybe Sam Darnold says, hey, I enjoyed playing inside. So, maybe, going to the Southeast or going somewhere with better weather is, a better opportunity for him. I've always thought Trey Lance was interesting. I just think Trey Lance is interesting from the fact that I really think the kid just needs an opportunity to play some football. Doesn't maybe necessarily correlate with the Browns the way, with what they've got going on. I definitely have interest in Justin Fields. I really thought Pittsburgh, and I understand what Pittsburgh's situation is. And this is the thing with the Kirk Cousinses and the Russell Wilsons. You have a 17-game regular season, but you ideally want your quarterback to go 20 games. 20 games. These guys ain't got 20 games in them. And Pittsburgh probably went to Russ too soon. And then once you went to Russ, you couldn't go back to Justin Fields. And that's how they ended up losing the 5 straight that they lost. So, there's definitely wild cards out there from that regard. Daniel Jones, look, and everybody, oh, God, can't have him. He's tagged. How many quarterbacks do you think are available to the Cleveland Browns right now that have taken a team to the playoffs and played well in the playoffs? Like,
not many.
Of this list? Like, nobody.
Not many.
I understand it's a weak group. I get it, guys. I really do. But they got to bring in 3 quarterbacks. It's going to happen. So of these names that we all may not be so super high on, get ready, to learn to know them. And, for those 3 who it's going to be, guys, kind of hope you like pierogies.
Yep. Well said, Jeff. Jeff, thank you so much for your time. We got our next guest ready to go here. I appreciate you breaking down the quarterback market for us. Good man. Make sure you're turning in every night at 6 p.m. on the OBR. We're thrilled to have him here. Jeff Lloyd, newest member, and glad to have you part of the team, Jeff. Great job tonight, as always. 6 p.m. Browns 3D with Jeff Lloyd every night.
Appreciate the help, Brad, and everybody else. Keep sticking along, man. We're trying to put together a great lineup of content for you guys each and every night. The more you come out, the more we'll work on putting out content, man. Asses in seats. We're always here to greet them. Absolutely.
You said it, brother. Have a wonderful evening, and thanks for joining me, Jeff.
You got it. We'll talk soon, Brad.
All right, man. Jeff Lloyd doing a fantastic job on everybody glad that he is with the OBR. All right, my next guest is here. This is Amy Castillo from
Japan. Japan. From Japan. Good morning from Tokyo.
Yes, it's the morning there, right?
Yes.
What time, really?
It's not. It's funny when you asked me. Remember, I was even confused what day it was. It's 9:30 a.m. Saturday. So I live in the future. Some people think.
Yeah, you do live in the future, and it's super weird. All right, how's it going? So the reason I wanted to bring you on, Amy.
Hey, Browns fans. Hey,
yes.
My pain.
Yep. Amy is a stand-up comedian and a sports radio host and a massive Vikings fan, reporter, whatever you want to do it. Right.
Thank you.
Let's
optimistic. I am one of the few optimistic left, I believe.
Yeah. So I want to talk to you about Sam Darnold.
Oh, yes.
Okay. So disappointing end of the year. Sam, what happened? What happened with Sam in the playoff game besides, reverting back to seeing ghosts and whatnot?
You know what I hate? I'm about to say Monty. Brad is, I hate that this is always going to be his reputation that, this is the same old Darnold when he was a rookie quarterback on the New York Jets. And everyone's like, I told you he's a fraud. They just won 14 games. They didn't beat really good teams. I'm like, you guys are out of your damn minds. Okay, this guy went through hell and back with the Jets, the Panthers, went under Kyle Shanahan under the 49ers, and then went to a good system, a good team with a good offense and a good defense, and won 14 games. So I don't know why. I understand. Now there's two things. I understand why people are so upset, especially Viking fan. Sports bettors out there, I heard all of you. I know you picked the Vikings. I got it. I'm sorry. I was very surprised.
Not your fault.
As you were. It's not my
Not
fault.
Your fault.
I mean, I've gone down every conspiracy theory. I've rewatched that game 5 times, Brad, and it was just too bizarre. You can't tell me this guy plays lights out, and this was his first time going to playoffs. So guess what? Jets don't go to the playoffs. So how about that? So you want to say this is the same old Sam Darnold? I was looking at star quarterbacks. I'm not saying he's Josh Allen. I'm not saying he's Lamar Jackson. It's a lot of pressure when you first go to the playoffs. Those guys didn't win their first wild card playoff game. It's this guy is finally getting a chance. And I'm not excusing it because that's not a winning mentality. But what more do you want from him? He got you to the playoffs. And yeah, the Minnesota Vikings defense was amazing this year, but it's complimentary football. It was a good team. It was an unexpected year. You're asking what I want to do with Sam Darnold. He is the answer right now. You might not be happy, but I would franchise tag him. For some reason, people are so sold on J.J. McCarthy when you haven't seen him play because he was a high draft pick. He's hurt. And in college, he's a game manager and had a really good running back. So everyone thinks he's the next Tom Brady for some reason. And maybe he will be. Maybe he will be. But we don't know that. You have something good right now. Sam, there's no drama on the team. You know about drama. You know the Browns know everything about drama. The team loves each other. There's a good culture. Everyone loves him. He's a leader. Justin Jefferson loves him. Just like everyone chill out.
All right.
Sorry. I got to.
You're good. You're good. I like the energy. All right. So, there was a picture, and I just tried to find it, and I couldn't find it. There was JJ McCarthy was on the sideline, right?
Yes,
did you see that?
Yes, and
he
always tweeting something poetic.
Okay, but he's looked like he lost like 40 pounds.
My guy we need to start putting some beef on my boy.
He looked big and athletic in the preseason. He looked great. There's a ton of hype around him. And then they had this glimpse of him on the sidelines. It looks like he's like atrophied or something.
Yeah.
Is that the right word?
Yeah, and I really appreciate these comments. I'm not saying JJ McCarthy is not going to be a good quarterback. He got injured, and you don't know he's going to be. And why not let him develop? I hope he's an amazing quarterback, and I believe in my coach Kevin O'Connell. But Kevin O'Connell also coached a terrible game against the Rams. I'm blaming him too. So
here's a good question.
Yeah,
how much of it is the system? That's what a lot of people want to say.
Yeah,
Kevin
absolutely.
O'Connell. Wide receivers, weapons for days.
Yeah. Everyone in your system has some success while not playing well at other places. Yeah, no, I agree. And so I think it was just a really, 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 really poorly coached game. And not enough people talk about the offensive line. I know Sam Darnold holds on to the ball too much at times, but no one talks about how important an offensive line is. And ours is trash. The Minnesota Vikings offensive line is complete garbage.
All right, so you just want to stick with Sammy.
Yeah. Okay. I'm not saying like past mistakes. I'm not saying this man has earned a huge contract, 200 something mil. I would tag him and just like keep him for another year to help JJ McCarthy. And you got Daniel Jones as trade bait even too. You got Danny Dimes, which I know people are down on him. I believe in my coach so much that maybe he's a quarterback whisperer and can turn him around.
Yeah, well, I wonder. Okay, you know O'Connell better than I do, not know him, but know about him. Is there a chance that he's just like I can make it work with JJ? Yeah, there's no reason to pay this money to Sam Darnold. It's the system, as World's Fastest said in the chat.
I just think there's so many unknowns. I am so nervous about him being more injured. I understand. I see the comments, strongest arm in his class, accuracy. I'm just when you get injured before you play in the NFL and you're transitioned to the NFL, like this was supposed to be a rebuild year too, which is insane to me. Kevin O'Connell, though, I do think he can turn I think it's a good system. I think he can turn quarterbacks into great quarterbacks. I really do.
Oh, you there?
Sorry, can you hear me? Sorry. Can you hear
Yeah,
me?
no, you're good.
Sorry. No. Yes, I believe Kevin O'Connell is a quarterback whisperer.
Right, but I guess my question is, so you think they're just going to franchise tag him, give him
Yes.
one more year
Yes.
for McCarthy to get
And
healthy?
listen, if Sam Darnold starts seeing ghosts, starts playing bad, pull him out, put JJ in. There you go. Everyone's happy. Everyone's happy. What's the worst that could happen?
Wasn't the tag like $40 million?
Yeah, but we have a lot of money right now because we didn't pay Kirk Cousins.
All right. So,
but you know this, like it's there's no quarterbacks coming up in the draft class that I might want. I think right now it's not. Sometimes you just gotta accept what it is and roll with it. I mean, you won 14 games and went to the playoffs. I don't know what more people want. Like right. I wanted a better turnout as well. Like people think I'm okay with losing. I'm not. But what else? Like, do you want 14 wins as a Browns fan? Do you want to go to a wild card game? Yes. Of course, like, are people crazy?
Well, I think people are looking at the situation and they're saying like they need to choose one or the other, and I don't think that's necessarily the case. You know what I mean? Like I'm sure you've heard the crazy people saying just keep Sam and trade JJ.
So it's a fluke. Sam Darnold sucks. 4,319 yards, 35 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, 102-point passing rating. Now that's all thrown away. I understand losing a playoff game. I understand, but
no, it's not about the playoff game. It's about the sample size for me. Right. So my pushback on Sam Darnold is like, if this was the third time he did that, no problem. Right. But this is the first time, and there's a lot of years before that where he was dog shit. I mean, what are we talking about here?
I mean, but what if he's getting his second chance? And I look at this with Goff and Baker Mayfield, and we can go down the line with all the quarterbacks. I just feel like this was, he shit the bed. He choked. He looked terrible. And
I don't care about that. The only reason and I know you cared.
I know, but that's all people are talking about. They're like, oh, well, he's the Sam Darnold the Jets drafted. No, he is not.
I don't think that's the case.
You guys are crazy.
Yeah, I don't think that's the case. I think it was a bad game. You can't take the season away from him. It's an intriguing position. $40 million is a lot of money. I guess for 1 year, it's not that impactful in the NFL because it's
nothing now.
The books. Yeah,
I don't want to commit to him for a long time, but I think he's earned enough to stay for another year.
All right. So if you keep Sam Darnold, are you guys gonna be fine trading Danny Dimes?
I mean, yeah, you could probably get some. I mean, people need quarterbacks. Don't you need a quarterback, Browns fans?
That's what I'm asking you. What do you
you want Sam Darnold?
We want Sam Darnold too.
Listen, Kirk Cousins. You want Kirk Cousins? You want who do you want?
I don't know. Do we want Kirk Cousins? You tell me.
Browns fans, you want to keep suffering?
You're a Kirk Cousins fan.
I want Sam Darnold over Kirk Cousins. I'll tell you that much.
Of course, but at this point, Cousins had a good start to the season and then fell off a cliff. They didn't really use him the right way. The question is, why?
Same old Kirk, though.
Why did they not use him the right way? Is it because he's injured or and he can't move? Or is it because they just didn't use him the right way? Do you think he has any good years left in him?
Yeah. As in Kirk?
Kirk.
I think Kirk Cousins, now people can have a narrative about Kirk Cousins because he has been in the league longer. He's been a starting quarterback multiple times, been with multiple teams. Kirk hits the ceiling, dude. He's going to have those 2 games where he's going to play out of his mind, but he's also not going to win in the playoffs. And I really like your chat group here, Brad. Very positive, but very realistic people. I like it.
Yeah, they're smart. They're smart football people. Yeah. That's what we do here.
No, I'm just saying, I really like it. I've been on a lot of shows and podcasts, and I really appreciate this group chat.
Yeah, they're wonderful people. We appreciate them too. Good job, guys. Good job, chat. Yeah, so I mean, the Browns are going to be bringing in veteran journeymen to try to fill this position, and then potentially drafting someone. I don't think they're drafting Shedeur Sanders at 2.
No, I don't think that either. And I apologize. I don't know what draft pick the Browns are at right now.
2.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
Yeah,
That's you're lucky. Yeah, it's but a lot of teams need a quarterback right now. So someone out there, they're gonna this goes with my Sam Darnold point. There's a lot of needy teams for quarterbacks, and I would not be like Sam Darnold's not your worst option. Like that's what I'm saying. Like why not just like go with it? I don't know.
he feels like maybe the Browns' best option, which is why I wanted to talk to you. But
Jets,
you don't think
Browns, Colts, Raiders. I mean, we can go down the line who all needs a quarterback right now, and they would all probably happily pay for Sam Darnold.
Yeah, I mean, we give him the Baker deal.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's about it.
But everyone thinks I'm some huge advocate for Sam Darnold. I'm just like, okay, but we're in a really tough spot as in the Minnesota Vikings. You got a good defense. You got a lot of free agents coming up. You got one of the best receivers in the league. You got a shitty O-line. You got a quarterback that got you through a really good season and
good
got
defense. You got a young quarterback, an old quarterback. You got the best wide receivers in the NFL. You guys are fine.
Nothing's wrong. It's just because now the Minnesota Vikings have made the most playoff appearances. They've lost the most playoff games. I understand why Viking fan is tired. I get it. And it's going to suck. I know. And as AFC North people, you don't want to see the Ravens. You don't want to see the Ravens win a ring. I don't want to see the Lions win a ring before the Vikings. Like, come on, dude. You've seen the Ravens win. But I'm saying, you know what I'm saying?
I do.
We're all tired. Browns fans were tired. Vikings fans were tired.
We are tired.
Get your hopes up every year.
So we should just take Sam off the board. He's staying in Minnesota at least.
Well, that is for me. I would like.
That's what you would do. That's what I want to know.
It's a crazy concept, developing quarterbacks. That's crazy. Like, and that's what I feel like would have. This is what would have happened. What? It's a weird concept.
It's not a weird concept.
Listen. JJ
Teams
McCarthy
don't do it anymore.
They don't. And then there's a lot of pressure on these guys, and they either get hurt or. But yeah, I say just keep Sam Darnold. I'm not saying he's the greatest quarterback of all time. He's your Mister right now. He's a nice guy you date. He's not the one you marry.
He's best available.
Have fun with him, and then if JJ McCarthy ends up being our franchise quarterback, that's great.
All right. And should the Browns last question for you? Should the Browns roll the dice on Kirk Cousins if he becomes basically free and they release him?
Problem.
If they gets released, he's basically free.
Okay, if he's free, yes, but man, if he's free, because Kirk Cousins, for not winning anything ever, that man has the best agent. That guy can win and make money. I mean, he can't win, but he can make money. It's insane. People will keep paying Kirk Cousins. I still don't understand the Atlanta thing. It still baffles me. But
yeah,
I don't know. But he's getting old. I mean, and maybe he's not. And people forget that he was out half the season with the Vikings last year.
Who?
Kirk Cousins with an Achilles.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So he's an injured old man. He's an injured old man. So our franchise is like that.
I like the Achilles. I think the Achilles impacted him this year. That's the thing. It's like the season after the season of an Achilles injury that you're back to 100%, but he's like 38 years old. So that's the question. And he has history with Stefanski, of course. I don't know. If he's free, I think they bring him in regardless, just as an option, or try to. But Atlanta is trying to say right now that they're gonna just keep him as a backup? I don't know if they're going to do that.
Well, because they paid so much money for him for 4 years. But also, I wish Jameis Winston could work out because I don't know if you like his football play. I just love him for the culture. I just
We
love
all
that
love
guy.
him.
And I want to be friends with him so bad.
We all love him for who he is. I just don't know
He can be your
if he
water
can-
boy.
if he can do it and not turn it over too many times. I don't know. The Browns are turning back into their old system, so maybe he could
So-
do it in that system. I don't know.
I see the chat too. So Kirk Cousins will have 2 really good games, 2 really bad games, and he'll keep you mediocre so you get a decent draft pick. That's what Kirk Cousins is. Just to let everyone know. He'll have 2 500-yard games, and then he's like, all right, I'm good.
Well,
Yeah. Oh, we're talking about, yeah, there you go. Brad Johnson. Trent Dilfer, yeah. See,
yeah.
Sam Darnold can win a Super Bowl. Trent Dilfer can.
Sam Darnold is better than both those guys. At least this
Brad
year
Johnson was a Minnesota Viking at one point, just to remind everybody.
He was, or
It's
he,
a tough-
he was better this year. I just wonder if he doesn't like turn into a pumpkin.
Yeah, well, Brad, and it's hard as NFL fans because we're so passionate, especially our fan bases. We're very loyal and we're just tired and exhausted and angry, and we think we all know the answers. This is a very unique situation for Minnesota, and we're grieving right now as Viking fans. It's another playoff loss, and it was an embarrassing loss. And so I think after this week, people will be more logical. But everyone is so upset that they might keep Sam Darnold when I don't think it's the worst option.
Yeah.
It's not that crazy. I'm like, okay, like it's not that crazy.
No,
you could have worse.
Probably the right thing to do. I was hoping you were going to say, no, they can't keep him. They got to go to JJ.
Oh, sorry.
But
you should have warned me because I
want the truth.
Oh my gosh. Do I hope JJ McCarthy ends up being a star franchise quarterback? Yes. I would love that. I don't get that as a Vikings fan. I want a franchise quarterback. But Sam Darnold is young. I don't know. I'm mad at him, but I'm not that mad at him.
Chad agrees with you. So
yeah, stupid dude. Or keep him for trade bait. I don't know. Just keep him. It works. What's not working right now?
The way that I saw McCarthy looking on the sidelines, they probably need to keep him.
Yeah,
he looked like a 12-year-old boy.
Some casserole, some Midwest food, man. My needs
that was kind of scary, actually.
Yeah, he looks sick.
Yeah, he did look sick.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens, but I'm optimistic. So, Brad, I know this probably isn't best for content, but I'm okay with keeping Sam Darnold.
All right. That's what we wanted to know.
Vikings Twitter hates me because I'm optimistic. They're like, you need to stop.
What do they want?
Have a win because they say I don't have a winning mentality. I'm like, yes, I do. This is an NFL team. Like, everyone calm down.
Yeah. Preaching to the choir. All right. So good season though. Darnold probably back. I think that makes a lot of sense.
Season.
Chad agrees with you. Very fun season for you.
He's a lot of good
Very
pasta.
Miserable season for us. But trying to turn things around. And
do you want to hear what my biggest fear is?
Yes, please.
Because everyone lives in the past as NFL fans. Everyone thinks Aaron Rodgers is coming to Minnesota for a year. I'm like, guys, just because they go to the Jets doesn't mean they're going to come through Minnesota. Okay, like everyone pump the brakes.
Yeah, that idea has been tossed around here as well.
You do not want Aaron. You don't want his off the field, and he's old. I don't want his on
the field. I don't want anything.
He can't move anymore. My guy can't do anything. No, you guys need a good young quarterback. I take Daniel Dimes over Aaron Rodgers.
That's what I just said. I will hopefully Quessy and Andrew can get in talks, and maybe we can get Daniel. He's not a free agent, is he?
Who? But Aaron Rodgers does whatever he wants. Oh, Danny Dimes. Oh, I don't know. Actually, I don't know. Let's look it up right now. I just know we just got him for cheap.
I I don't think he is.
Also, someone brought up that's when the Saints win a Super Bowl. I also can, everyone says conspiracy theories with the fires. They're not. Everyone thinks that's why they weren't going to let LA lose that game. I'm like, no, I think Sean McVay had a really good game plan against the Minnesota Vikings.
Daniel Jones.
Oh, I love the drunk girl entry. I get that a lot. This is just coffee, I promise.
Thanks for handling my show while I look up Daniel Jones' contract.
Yeah, no, of course. You don't want Dak. You don't want Kirk Cousins. My favorite part is NFL fan, again, lives in the past. You don't want Matthew Stafford. You don't want any of these old guys. You want a young guy. You know who's young? Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold is young. Sam Darnold is young. Sam Darnold is healthy.
Well, we're not getting Sam Darnold, so quit rubbing it in our face.
What if you do?
Yeah, I mean, that would be great. But sign
No,
the
you're not getting him.
I know. It doesn't say that he's a free agent, but
I mean, I'm just wondering if we took him from the Giants. Oh, what a disaster they are.
When was he drafted? 2019.
Yeah. You take Stafford. I just think you want Danny Bags.
Free agent 2023. Signed
the Browns are going to take a quarterback from this class, aren't they? That sounds very Browns-like.
He's on an extension. Remember, he signed the 4-year extension with the Giants, so he's on that extension till he's a free agent in 2027.
Hey, we like him. Keep him. Hey, listen, I like it. I like having many backup quarterbacks with experience. Minnesota Viking fans rather have Nick Mullins play, which is insane to me. That's insane to me too. I would
Ripien.
Oh yes. So,
anyways, so Darnold's off the table. That's what we wanted to know.
Well, I mean, this is if I was Quessy, if I was the GM of the Vikings and I was able to do this. All right, Sam, we're gonna keep you one or two more years. We're gonna let JJ develop, gain some weight. We're gonna draft some O-line, so you're not sacked 6 times in the first half of a playoff game.
9 total, right?
Yeah, that says a lot. I know.
All right. Well, thank you for your time, Amory.
Brad, if you ever ask me to come on, I'm going to come support. I love me some Browns fans. I was thinking of you all when I was watching the Steelers-Ravens because I was wondering who Brad Ward wanted to lose more. And
at that point.
And if you don't mind, just because I get to come on an AFC North show tomorrow, it's funny. Misery loves company. I'm on like 10 podcasts this week, 10 shows because everyone wants to talk about Sam Darnold. Because I think everyone like you who's needy of a quarterback's like, so what do you think?
We want to know if he's going to be free.
You're like, put in a good word for the Browns.
Yeah.
So can I get your quick take? I'm sorry, not to take over your show. I have to
fine.
go on a show tomorrow and talk about if I think Mike Tomlin should get fired.
I think that's kind of crazy.
I just wanted to ask a Browns fan.
I get where, I think I don't think he should be fired, but I understand why Pittsburgh fan is so if you were a fan and you lost in the first round year after year after year after year, you would get tired of it and you would want him fired. I mean, that's just the way it goes. I understand where they're coming from, but as someone that has not seen that success in their organization, you're like, no, I think he's a pretty good coach.
Okay, well, thank you. I appreciate that. I just wanted to ask you because I love that they want me to come on and talk about Mike Tomlin and Sam Darnold.
That's where I'm at. That's where I'm at with it.
Well, I just would actually come visit your show more because this has been the favorite chat I've ever seen. I'm being serious.
Good job, chat.
I've seen a lot of crazy chats in my lifetime. And I love you all. And I love Browns fans, and I appreciate you all. One day, guys, before we die, something good will happen.
There you go. There you go. New part-time bro fan. You won him over. All
Thank
right.
you. Yeah, follow
love
me
you
at
too.
Part-Time Bro.
Here comes the love. All right. Follow her at part-time
Hey.
bro on Twitter.
Hey, when whatever happens with Sam, I'll come back on and we'll talk about it.
Are you still on a Japanese game show?
Yeah, I'm still on a Japanese game show.
Where can we watch the game show?
You know what? They told me they're going to start putting it on YouTube.
Okay.
But it might be in Japanese.
I don't care.
It's called Global Comedian.
Global Comedian.
I'm not a Steelers fan. I'm a Minnesota Viking fan.
And for laughs,
I'm not drunk. This is just my normal self, but that's great.
Yeah. It's Squid Games. No, it's not Squid Games.
Dude, they take Squid Game very serious here. You can do real life Squid Game here.
What?
I'm going to figure it out and I'll let you guys know. No, Global Comedian's kind of like America's Got Talent, but Japanese version because I'm a stand-up comedian. Squid Comedians. And I'm an American that doesn't know English and I have to judge them, doesn't know Japanese. And I have to judge them based off not understanding them. Japanese.
How are you supposed to do that?
Japanese, it's all physical humor, but Japanese television is wild. So it's a lot of fun.
The trailer that Monty shows is insane.
Yeah, I'll
look like you don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't. And then they put this earpiece in my ear. So when the host wants to talk to me, because I don't understand any Japanese.
Do you ever know what's going on?
No, I don't. That's the best part. That's when I need a drink. But yeah. But I'll let you know.
That's wild. Yeah, if they put it on YouTube, let me know.
Hey, let's all enjoy golfing right now as NFL fans. I hope it's not the Chiefs in the Super Bowl.
It will be.
And I hope we enjoy the rest. And I look forward to see who you guys pick for the number 2 overall pick.
Yeah, me too.
Maybe this will be the year it changes.
No Chiefs, please. Chiefs fatigue is taking over.
Boring. It's just boring. Like I want something new.
I'd rather see the Chiefs than the Ravens. I'll tell you that much.
Okay, me too. All right, AFC North. Me too. No Ravens, no Chiefs.
Buffalo. I could live with that.
Oh, you know me. I'm big Josh Allen advocate.
I know.
So
Yep.
So
a lot of people want Abdul Carter at 2, the edge from Penn State.
Yeah.
A lot of people want Shador or Cam Ward, one of the 2 quarterbacks. They'll go 1-2 probably. So the Browns are probably not picking it 2 if they don't want Shador. They'll probably trade back, but we'll see.
We'll see. But whenever you need me, Brad, I'm here for you guys.
All right. Well, I appreciate the insight.
I love Bills Commanders, like something random for the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I have a feeling it's going to be like I think it's going to be pretty chalky in the end. Kansas City, Detroit.
Boo.
Chalk. All right. It would be cool to see the Lions there, even though I don't like Dan Campbell.
Well, the only thing I don't like about the Lions fans now is they need to stay humble because they're acting out of control. They're acting like Eagles fans, and I don't like it. I'm like, okay, just because you're winning it's crazy.
Well, they better enjoy it now because soon as Brad or what's
Ben
his
Johnson,
name?
Ben Johnson leaves.
Ben Johnson leaves. That's it because we know Dan Campbell can't coach football without him. So enjoy the season.
Oh, I love Teddy Bridgewater. Another quarterback that got hurt, and guess what? Didn't work out, so we traded him. That sounds familiar.
Jason, if they take him, they take him. I don't know what to think.
Hey, I know Stefanski very well.
We know you do. That's So I don't. I get wanting to take a quarterback there. I just feel like it's forcing it. So We'll see. Thank you, Marie. We'll look for
Brad,
you.
I miss you, buddy. Let me know.
Yes.
I'm always here for you guys. Follow me at Part Time Bro, and I hope to see you guys soon.
Great job, Marie. Thank you for your time. Talk to
Go
you soon.
Sammy D.
Yeah, okay. Amy Castillo stopping in for her Sam Darnold take, which is kind of what we thought might happen or hear from her, in that Sam not going anywhere. So really no reason to get your hopes up, unless I don't know. I guess the 1-year franchise tag makes a lot of sense for them, especially if you saw the picture of JJ on the sideline looking rather skinny. And yeah, so smart Viking fans would want to keep Darnold. Yeah, I agree with you guys. So thanks to Marie for stopping by and lending her thoughts on the Vikings and Kirk Cousins, because Kirk Cousins was there for a long time. And I'm still like holding out hope that Cousins kind of like just had a bad year because of his injury. Is that crazy? Yeah, JJ, I don't know what's going on with JJ. He looked atrophied. His body looked weak and brittle, and yeah. So and you know, that is here is the list. That's not the list. I had it up and ready to go. Let me get back to it. The list of free agent quarterbacks is absolutely insane. It's insane. But there's Danny Dimes is not one of them. I forgot he was under that silly extension that they signed him to, so he would have to be acquired via trade. Vikings stashed him on their roster, so that's interesting as well. 2025 free agents. And I don't know if the doc is going to make it. I spoke to, let me see. Dr. Jesse Morse was potentially going to stop by tonight and talk to us about Nick Chubb injury, JOK, and the Spam Kinnaman daughter's birthday. Happy birthday, 17 years for Casey's daughter. 17 years old. And then so we had Jeff Lloyd on, Amy Castillo, and then we have we thought the doc might stop by, so I'm gonna hang around for a couple minutes here with you guys and look at some of these free agent lists here for quarterback. Here it is, available. Sam Darnold, Zach Wilson, Trey Lance, Jacoby Brissett. Hold on. Let me put this up. Yes, I do have you. Here we go. Get swole. All right. So Sam Darnold, their market value, that's the tag. 4 years, 4.1. I think that's crazy, but for 1 year, that's fine. And they'll probably just keep him. Zach Wilson, Trey Lance, Jacoby Brissett, Taylor Heineke, Marcus Mariota had a good showing Not that I'm advocating the acquisition of him, but he did have a nice showing at the end of the regular season for Washington. Drew Lock, Jarek Stidham, Andy Dalton, 37 years old. Justin Fields, as Jeff mentioned earlier in the show, an option. Let's see what they say I have his market value at. Can't be that high, right? 8.9. Interesting. Yeah, so and then Flacco, Winston, been down both those roads. Mac Jones, Carson Wentz, Garoppolo, Keenum, Mason Rudolph, no thank you. Easton Stick, no thank you. Cooper Rush, thought he played well this year. He's almost 32 years old. Josh Dobbs, Brandon Allen, Nick Mullins, Kyle Trask is interesting. And was mentioned in that article, by the way. So something to think about there. Josh Johnson, no. Kyle Allen, Teddy Bridgewater, Russell Wilson. We'll see how that plays out. That's about it. Zappy failed to be able to. Oh, he's a restricted free agent. I don't know why we're restricting anything with him. He can't throw the ball. No arm strength. So there it is. That's the breakdown. Russell Wilson, Mr. 2 and 5 in the last 7 games of the season. Mr. Unlimited. Yeah, so it's slim pickings out there for real. But they need to bring in a couple guys. Operation Stockpile style, and bring in a couple guys and take someone later in the draft, like a Milrow or a Dart, although I think they may sneak it too far up in the draft, but maybe that's the way to go. The best thing they can do, and I'll continue to say this, the best thing they can do is soup up the run game. I'm drafting a running back. I'm bringing in a good free agent running back. I'm bringing back Chubb. Offensive line, retooling, bolstering it. You've got Bloomgren in there. You need to make this run game, this offensive line as good as it can possibly be to make the quarterback position as easy as it can possibly be as they go back full Stefanski. And then on defense, you plug some holes and you hope to run that back with an upgraded version. And if you get lucky and get a defense playing like a top 5 defense again, and you have a run game and a quarterback that can manage it and know how to exploit Stefanski's offense, which he's done before, and we've seen with Jacoby Brissett, and we've seen with Flacco. If you could see that, envision that stuff, they could win enough games to keep their jobs for another year and maybe make a push for a quarterback that they really want in next year's draft if they don't fall in love with the guy in this year's draft. I mean, beauty is in the eye of the beholder always with these things in the draft. Like, they may fall in love with Shador or think he can be the guy. I don't know. I don't see it. But there are certainly other options that they may fall in love with, and the Tommy Rees, Jalen Milrow connection is certainly something to keep an eye on as we move forward here. So plug some turkey holes. Yeah, absolutely. So that's where we're at with all of that. As a Winston truther, also, he really got screwed when you realize the fan base views him through the eyes of Dorsey's offense and not Stefanski. Agreed. He came here to run Stefanski's offense. He got tossed in the middle of all that nonsense. And there is I thought he got a raw deal a little bit too. Winston and Flacco would be a decent room draft Melrose. Interesting. There's a lot of interesting, combinations, right? You have nobody in your quarterback room besides DTR, right? Who I don't think we care if is there for long term. Jacob wants Jacoby. But there's a bevy of combinations that you can come up with, right? So, trade for Daniel Jones, bring in Cousins, bring in Fields, not my top option. Bring in Kyle Trask. And maybe Trask and Daniel Jones and Jackson Dart. Maybe you end up with that combination. What do you think? It's crazy, but you never know. With that combination, you're giving yourself options, I would say, at least. And all we want is somebody that can operate. To Jacob's point, we know Jacoby can operate the offense. Now, it can't be the same offense that Jacoby operated years ago. As we talked about before, this needs to be an upgraded, modernized version, which is what you hired Tommy Rees to do. So, yeah, but it all starts with making whoever that quarterback is, making his job as easy as possible by putting talent around him outside. And even more importantly than outside, because I kind of like some of the guys we have in the wide receiver room already, but running back talent, like elite running back talent, would help a ton. And retooling the offensive line and the game plan in the offensive run game. You cannot be what you've been in the run game and expect success. You absolutely have to be better, be top 15 in the run game this year. Yes, I do, don't I? Brad looks extremely justified for his draft day tantrum over DTR in hindsight. Thanks, Rocky. I appreciate you remembering that tantrum and remembering how bad DTR does look now. Appreciate that. All right, guys. We will be back tomorrow night with things I think I know about the Browns. And we will talk all about it. Oh, the tantrum was legendary. But who came out on the right end of that one fumble, huh? So we will see you tomorrow night for things I think I know. Keep it locked at the Orange and Brown Report for all things Cleveland Browns, the best Browns community going. Hit like and subscribe on your way out as we push past 6,000 blind squirrel past 6,000 subscribers here on YouTube. So I appreciate you guys hanging around. Big thanks to Jeff Lloyd for stopping by. Amy Castillo bringing all the energy from over in Tokyo. So thank you guys for tuning in to another edition of All Eyes on Cleveland. Casey will be back next week, and we'll be talking to a beat reporter from Atlanta about Kirko and get the inside scoop on that as we proceed here in this so pivotal offseason for the Browns. Keep it locked at the OBR. Have a wonderful evening, and I'll see you tomorrow night on Things I Think I Know. Thanks for watching. Peace.